Hey, folks. You tired of? We hear this a lot. We hear people are tired of MongoDB and are looking for another solution when they're working with Node applications, but in our case, specifically with MeteorJS. There are some difficulties about just replacing MongoDB with any other database. You can use other databases with MeteorJS, but they pose their problems. Today, we're going to talk about a plugin replacement or the promise of a plugin replacement for MongoDB that you can use with Meteor. And we're going to have somebody here with us, a guest today, who has been with us before. And you know him, you have seen him before. And we'll get to that in just a minute. I'll bring him on in just a minute. Oh, I just realized I am not on the screen. So here I am. So today we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna cover some news, and then we're gonna talk about what's coming up next over the next couple of weeks. All right. And with that, I want to say that this is episode 68 of This Week in MeteorJS, a weekly newscast of the MeteorJS Dispatches podcast. Still can't get it straight. I'm Alim Gafar, streaming to you live from New York City. Today I am by myself here with the news. The Jan brothers are on vacation, and so we're going to see how we do with that today. So I could see that one of the Jan brothers is he's in the chat. Hi, Jan. He wrote before, I could see you, but I can't hear you. And now he can see me. So having said that, I'm going to bring on our guest today, and then I'm going to switch back to just take care of the news. So if you will, give me a moment, and I will bring him in. Hello there. Who do we have with us today?
Yes, Lauri Ojasiuk, Z7, CEO of Vegan.
That's right. So Lauri's with us. He has come in from the North Pole, if it were, to join us today. He's in Finland, I believe. Is that right? Yep. And so we are happy to have him. So we also have Simon popping in saying hi. He's live from Africa. Hi, Simon. Happy holidays. Hope everybody had a good holiday. If if you celebrate one of them, and if not, well, I hope you're having a good day. Okay. And with that, we are going to go straight to the news as we normally do. So let me bring this in. Hang on one second here. Where are we? Okay, let's just get right to this. So, well, this is going to be interesting. We haven't tried this layout before. All right, so first up is there's an announcement this week. I don't know if any of you guys have had a chance to play with it. I'm going to bring Laurie in, as a matter of fact. Let me just do it this way instead. So, Laurie, there is, there was an announcement this week that GitHub, on the GitHub blog, that GitHub is making Copilot available for free for users. And I think there's some restrictions and so on, but right now, if you want to give it a try, you can, and it's there. Now, Laurie, I think you mentioned to me that you have used Copilot in the past, correct?
Yes. For example, I have used it to convert those Meteor 2 chain templates to the Meteor 3 blades templates, and so there are with that Copilot two tabs. Other one can directly make changes to the code, and other one can answer questions.
So that's kind of cool. I have not tried it yet because before this, it was a paid feature. And I don't know if anybody in the chat, for instance, if Jan Küster, who I saw here before, I don't know if he's still here, has given it a try, because I believe that if you are doing open source projects, community projects, then you get it for free, which is, I'm assuming that's how you have it, Laurie, or were you paying for it?
Yes, it was previously free for open source maintainers, but now it is free for everyone.
That's terrific. Okay, cool. So it'll be great to hear what others have thought of it. I will give it a try and see if it actually does anything for me. So,
Yeah,
do you find?
yes,
Go ahead.
yes, and also there are different AI models to choose from. If some of those does timeout, then it's possible to change to different model and ask from that the same question. So there is, for example, cloud and O1 and other, maybe about 4 models.
All right. I guess there's plenty to play with for now. So
Yeah.
anyway, if you guys are on GitHub, give it a try if you haven't paid for it already and have not tried it, and see if it helps improve your productivity. All right. And speaking, so we've got some really, that seems like a Christmas present to me. Getting access to this model for free. What was a little disturbing, and I heard this the other day, and I don't know if you heard it before, because it was actually reported in the dev class blog or publication back in October, I think it was. And so here's the thing: there was a proposal, or is a proposal, to split JavaScript into 2 different languages, and that was a proposal that was taken in front of the ECMA TC39 working group by people that are on that working group, and they have their reasons behind it, but it just seemed like a topic that I didn't hear about, and I wasn't quite sure if any of you guys heard about it. And Laurie, have you heard about this? That the maintainers of, or the folks behind that TC9 meeting had been thinking of doing a split on the language?
No, and I don't know why.
Yeah, so it's a good article. They talk about it. There is there is this belief that there's too many changes that come too quickly to the language, and there's some features of it that should be for the developers, so that they can do what they need to do. But then there needs to be a lot more stability, or less frequent changes to things that belong to the core engine part of it. I'm not stating this well. I would suggest that if you're interested in this discussion and want to see where it goes, you go and you take a look. Perhaps you believe that what the proposals are correct, and you would side with it, and maybe you think otherwise. But go take a look at it and see. This was something I didn't know about. I ended up reading this article, and I was very, very surprised by it. Now, a lot of you have used a bunch of different hosting services. Galaxy is one of the sponsors for this program, which is Meteor's. There is other cloud service providers like AWS, Azure, and so on that are out there. And one of the companies that has built a great service, and we enjoyed it as Meteor users initially when they had taken away the free cloud service for developers. A company called Vercel had come out and created a cloud product, and it worked with Meteor, and we were all very thankful because we got some free instances to run, and that was cool. Vercel has grown in leaps and bounds and has moved into other things. And one of the things I was really surprised to find was how quickly and how deeply they've jumped into AI and offering AI services and features on their product. And now they are managing their hang on, let me just finish. They are offering a survey. They're doing the State of AI Developer Survey, and that is now open for anybody that wants to give it a try. So if you're interested, no, it's not there. If you're interested, you might want to either scan the QR code or go to the link that we have in the on the screen. Laurie, you were about to say something.
No, that was only about changing the slide.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. So the next item up is I noticed that there is this new application that is called Silent Wake Up that's been advertised or mentioned or announced in the media forums. If you haven't gotten a chance to take a look at that, please go take a look. We try to keep track of as many of these Meteor applications that are out there as possible. And whenever there's one that's been announced, we want to let everybody know so they can go check it out themselves. So Silent Wake Up, go take a look. And that's what we got. And by the way, if you enjoy the work that we do here, please hit the like button. That helps the YouTube algorithm know that others are looking at our content and are appreciating it, and it allows it to get spread to more and more people. So hit that like button, give us a thumbs up, and we'll continue going. I want to give you a reminder about posting your tips for migrating to Meteor version 3. If you are doing migrations, you might want to come and take a look at this thread and see if there's any information that can help you get past a bug, fix a configuration problem, or something. I noticed that in the forums, the information's kind of spread all over the place. I think we want to try to centralize it as much as possible here. I do notice that on the Slack and in the community Discord, there are conversations that are going on with regard to challenges that people are having with their migrations, and also sharing the fixes that they find, either by speaking with the people over at Meteor Software and getting help there, or finding people from the community to do so. Those bits of information, when they're not centralized, makes it really, really hard for others to be able to, get help as efficiently and effectively as possible. So I'm just pointing out that we do have this post. And if you are one of those people that has had a problem, solved a problem, but did not put it in this post, if you could migrate it there, I think it would benefit everybody. So just a reminder. Okay. And finally, we're going to get to the Meteor news. This because our friend Jan Dvorak, aka Storyteller, is not here. I want to mention that Meteor News is sponsored by Literary Universe. I'm wearing the Literary Universe hat here today. And hang on. Oh, okay. This is a comment by Jan Küster, who is mentioning that that things will get even more confusing if they split the language, and the like button. Yes, exactly. All right. So Literary Universe is a sponsor for the Meteor News, and this is a segment that Storyteller usually does. So I'm going to go on from here to talk about those things. He does a much better job than I do. There is a new documentation page for the MeteorJS community packages, and that is an announcement that Gabriel Guba made recently. You want to go check that out and find out a little more about it. We have a link to the forum discussion over there, but it's really great to see that documentation is finally going to be part of the overall Meteor documentation. So really good there. I wanted to also mention, and from time to time, people are always looking to see whether or not they could become part of the Meteor team. How do I become part of the Meteor team? There are jobs that are open and apply for them. The last few jobs that we've seen up for, I guess it's the open source part of the project, has really been for you know, I would say they're for engineers, but there was always a requirement to speak Portuguese that seemed to be there, and it seemed to exclude some other members from of the community or developers elsewhere from being able to participate. Well, I was reading the job description for this open position for a Galaxy engineer, and it does not have that as a requirement. Now, I skimmed through it, and maybe it's there. I'm nearly 100% sure that it's not. So it seems to be more open to anybody that would have the skills that they're looking for, without the language requirement for Portuguese. They do have a language requirement for, let's see, they do have a language requirement for having good conversational English. But that's about it as far as the language requirements are there. And I want to mention, in addition to this, so we're going to move off from this, and now we're going to talk about other things, benefits to you. So if you are building applications, you have applications built with MeteorJS, and you're either hosting at Galaxy, or you're self-hosting and you're thinking that you want to have a managed hosting platform, Galaxy is offering a savings plan. It's offering 30% off on their holiday savings plan, and that is good until the end of this year, 12/31. So we only have a few more days until that 30% discount goes away. They offer other discounts during the year, but this end of year discount is the biggest that they always give. And on top of that, we're going to talk about an additional discount that you can get from our sponsorship, and we'll do that in a couple of minutes. But I would say if you are thinking about this, I think this is a great deal, and you should give it a try. So we have the QR code there. We have the link down below. You can use either of those things to go to their landing page, fill it out, and apply for that discount. All right. And finally, I just wanted to mention, I think it was mentioned last week, but I watched it last night, the What's New in Meteor 3.1, a set of interviews that Gabs did. Gabs is the developer advocate for Meteor software, did with Leonardo, Nacho, and Gabriel about the new release of MeteorJS, and it's really well done. And I was really impressed by the production values. They have great transitions. They have a little background music in the back. But the way it's cut, the way it's edited, it really gives you the meat and potatoes of what you need to know. And I would say give it a watch. It hasn't had as many views as I think it should. And I think maybe it's because it's come out after 3.11, but it's still very relevant. Go watch it, check it out, and it's only a few minutes, so it's worth taking a look at. You'll learn something from it. Okay, and by the way, I want to thank everybody that has been part of this program, who has subscribed to the channel. We really appreciate all you've done. We're up to, I think, 324 members, subscribers today. We would like to turn that into 325 by the end of the day, if possible, and get to 350 before the end of this old year, before we start the new year. That is our challenge to you. We know that more than half of the viewers that come to the channel, that watch the videos, are not yet subscribers. If you are one of those people, it costs you nothing. You'll get a notification whenever we have a new video or we have a new episode going up. I believe that you have to make a small change to the settings, and maybe somebody here can remind me of what it is. But I think you have to go into the settings for the subscribe and choose something like everything, or I forget exactly what it is. But you have to kind of tune it so that you do get the notification, because we have heard from some subscribers that they are subscribed, but they're not getting notifications. You have to change your notification level so that you will get the notification. But you do that, and you'll be apprised as to whenever we have a new video going out or when we schedule a new live video. So hit that subscribe button. We love you all. We love you even more if you subscribe to us. Okay? And now this is where I usually rely on my partners to come in and help out, because I always forget exactly how to do this. All right, let's get this going. Oh, I already have the Understanding Meteor. We're going into the Understanding Meteor section, and it's sponsored by Galaxy. And let me get that video up. So Galaxy is the purpose-built hosting platform for MeteorJS. And we have here the landing page for Galaxy. And when you get in there, you want to type in on the coupon code dispatches-60 to get your $60 credit of Galaxy credits. And that'll give you about 2 months worth on, I believe it's the standard or the tiny container. You should be able to run an application for free during that period of time. So I would say go give it a try. And now we're at our key point of our show. So I need to switch over. I see a comment coming, please. It says, please, if always experience and seniors to be the organizations you hire, should be hiring with no experience. Okay, so Simon's making a pitch for the, I guess for the job opening for the Galaxy engineer. All right. Well, good luck, Simon. I appreciate it that you mentioned this, and hopefully somebody will be listening and take your concerns, suggestions to heart. All right. So I mentioned before that we have this software called FerretDB, and FerretDB purports to be a drop-in replacement for MongoDB. And there's this project that's come around. It's been in the works for a few years now, and they had 1.0 last year where they announced it, and now they're up to, I believe it's 1.24 of the software. So we wanted to know whether or not it works as advertised. Can you just drop it in, and all of a sudden you have the same functionality that you would have with Meteor, with MongoDB, with MeteorJS? And so what we're going to do is we're going to just go through very quickly. This is going to be a side-by-side thing. I'm going to talk a little bit about Meteor and the role that MongoDB has in Meteor. And then we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to turn this over to Lori. And the reason that Lori is here is Lori actually tried to use FerretDB with a weekend setup. So he's going to let us know what he did, how he did it, and what happened. I think that's what we really want to know at the end of the day is this ready to go? So let's go do this. By the way, we did have, Lori did reach out to the FerretDB team to see if they would be able to join us today. We did get a response back from Alexei today saying that he could join us. Unfortunately, we didn't have a chance to actually, talk together and work this out, and we have a presentation. So it was going to be a little challenging to do this episode with somebody from FerretDB here. So we're going to do a separate episode with them after this, so they can tell us how much we got right, how much we got wrong, what we could have done differently, and hopefully they're in the audience. And Alexei, who is, I believe, the CTO of the company, is in the audience here, and he says, hey. So Alexei, keep an eye on us, and of course we have the Lecken team also responding, seeing their CEO here. So we're gonna see how this goes. All right. So we're gonna walk this through. There's going to be a little talk about MeteorJS and how MongoDB acts as a storage layer. talk about its relationship with MiniMongo and what it does for synchronization of the data. We'll talk briefly, very briefly, we'll just mention what MeteorJS can do with other databases and the reactivity challenges that it faces with other databases and why it needs MongoDB. And then we'll talk about the problem that FerretDB addresses and what FerretDB promises to give you. And we've kind of mentioned that promise before as, seamless drop-in solution. Who are the people behind it, and what are some of the capabilities that are there? And we're not going to spend a ton of time talking about those capabilities because they really are mirrors, but we'll also kind of mention a little bit about some of the things that they are saying explicitly that they're not going to do yet. So let me get to it. So here we go. All right, so for those of you who are quite familiar with Meteor, you'll know this architectural diagram, if you will. All right, so Meteor has a client, it's got a server runs in Node. There are two types of communication that goes across the wire. There are explicit HTTP method calls, and then there is the database communication between MongoDB and MiniMongo for synchronization, sharing information on publications, and that is done across the DDP protocol. MiniMongo is an in-client database. It's a stripped-down version of MongoDB that runs in the client that allows you to maintain the sort of, sort of live experience about like updates that are happening to the database. And MongoDB is where we actually persist the data that gets computed on the server. So that is a quick review of how that works. Now in FerretDB, is they don't say that they are a database. They claim to be a proxy, and I think this is a very careful language use. Is that they're a proxy that takes the MongoDB wired protocol and converts basically the queries that you have written in what MongoDB calls MQL. It's basically a JavaScript-like language. Well, it is a JavaScript-like language that is used to talk to the database and get information, persist information, make changes, and convert that into SQL so that the data can then be persisted into a relational database, such as Postgres or SQLite. I believe there are other databases that, and Alexei could probably tell me in the chat. I believe HanaDB is one of them that they've been working with, and there might be others that they are looking at supporting also. The claim is that they use basically the same languages, the driver, and the tooling that MongoDB uses. So you don't have to do anything differently than you do now when you're building your applications with MongoDB. You just change, effectively what you do is you change the connection string, you change the string to the op log, and you're able to have the same functionality. All right. Now, it does say it's, let's see here. This is not the highlighted one, but it does say it's okay. It's an open source proxy that translates it, right? It was initially built as open source software. Okay, so one of the things that they make clear here is the rationale behind why they're doing this. And I watched a recently, it's not a recent video, but I watched this video recently where one of the founders, a gentleman by the name of, and if you give me a second, I had it a second ago and now I don't have it. Where do I have it? Okay. Yeah, so the gentleman's name is Peter Farkas. He is the CEO of the company. He gave a talk, I think, during the 1.0 release, Alexei. Okay, oh, and Alexei is highlighting something here. He says, only Postgres SQLites are officially supported for now. SAP HANA and MySQL support is being developed by the community. Thank you for clarifying that, Alexei. So I watched this video that of a talk that was given. I don't know if it was a conference or something because I don't remember, by Peter Farkas, who was talking about the rationale behind building FerretDB. And part of it is, as many of you might remember, MongoDB went through a period where they took their former GPL open source license and they changed it. They went to a Pharo license model, and I believe they have today still a dual license model. There is a server-side license, and then there's the Pharo license that is there. And I know this because I was a little bothered by it initially because I'm a former MongoDB employee. And so there is something that I was a bit concerned about when it happened, but then I understood where they came from. And actually, although Peter doesn't buy the argument that, and he says so, he doesn't really buy the argument that is made by MongoDB as to why they made that change. And the fact that they are they have arbitrary control over what you can do with the software. I agree with MongoDB with the position that they took. So anyway, hang on. He says, no, MongoDB is SSPL now, only now. There's no current AGPL version. I'm going to have to go take a look at that again, Alexei. I know that you're saying that, but I need to talk to my folks over at MongoDB and also take a look at the licensing model myself. I do believe that the community software can be used by anybody that they want to. If you make modifications and then you sell software, I think that's where you come into the issue of having to pay licensing fees. So I know I download the software and I use it, and they're not charging me for it. So anyway, I understand some of the rationale for it, but I also will say I think that this is a very innovative solution using the MongoDB wire protocol and talking to a SQL database. And I can see many, many other benefits for doing this. So hang on a second. Let's see, where are we? Why are we not there? Okay, so we were here before. All right. So how did I not advance the slides before? I apologize if I didn't. I thought I did. Maybe I'm advancing the slides on my computer. I think that's what I did. I apologize. So let me go back here for a second. So this is the FerretDB diagram that shows the architecture of how their proxy works. And this is the introduction that gives the rationale behind it. And they talk about the scope and the current state of what they're doing and where the software is. This is on version 1.24, which I believe is the current version of it. And they do also publish, and I commend them for this, what the known differences are in terms of what MongoDB offers today and what FerretDB covers. And with that, I just want to also point out that I really love the fact that they have a very well organized project. They have a roadmap that they've published. They've been very public about what they're doing and sharing it with everybody. And so if you want to be part of this, they're really, I think one of the arguments that's being made also is that MQL is what MongoDB is calling it today, but the query language that they're using for document databases. And Alexei is saying that he really, and you could see it saying, he really needs to update the roadmap. Okay, Alexei, absolutely. If there's more to it, or things that have been crossed off and completed, that's great. It'd be great to see what those are going to be. But I think one of the things that I found very interesting was, there was a comparison that Peter made with the SQL language and the Mongo query language, and he puts them sort of in parallel tracks where SQL has, although it was a proprietary language that was used by IBM at first, there were variants that came out, and eventually they standardized along a certain lines. There was, I believe, SQL 92 at one time, and I don't know what SQL is today in terms of like where it stands, but I do remember SQL 92 because I have a book on it on my bookshelf back there, and so I think the thinking is that there's going to be a document lookup language, and MQL looks like it, partly because MongoDB is, when you take a look at DB Engines, which is the database ranking tool that is out there, and you can go to dbengines, I think, .org or .com. It's .org, I think, and you can see, over the years, what the popularity of different databases are. Hang on. Side note about our roadmap. Our plan is to release FerretDB 2 in January, which will be powered by Postgres extension, improving compatibility and performance by a lot. That's a story for another time. Actually, Alexei, we want to have you on the program because I do want to talk about these other things. There were some mention of metrics and performance metrics, and in the talk that Peter gave. So there's a lot, I think, that we want to unpack, and I think that there's probably been a lot of progress made between when he did that talk and today, and so I believe that there is a lot there that you could share with us, and we'd like to have a more conversational discussion sometime in the very near future, perhaps sometime in January if we have the time to do that. So if you're open for that, we'd love to have you, and anybody else from the team that might want to add in something there. So as I was saying, what was I saying? Now I'm a little, I moved myself past where I was before. So the current state, yes. So they're doing different things here. And then, one of the things I do appreciate, as I said before, is the fact that they have the roadmap. They've been very clear. They've been very open about what they're trying to do. One of the things they're trying to do also is, because MongoDB is they're the 50-pound gorilla with document databases. They're the most popular one, and they have a well-developed query language. The idea is that query language could possibly become a standard at some point, and they are working to make sure that language, as it stands, is, you're capable of just using it elsewhere on a non-MongoDB implementation for document databases, whether that document database is in a traditional MongoDB style document database, like, or in a relational database. So we're going to see how this all plays out, right? And one of the other things that they have is, they make their GitHub open and available. So again, we have here, I believe we have a link to the GitHub. Whoops. A link to the GitHub. Oh, no, I don't. All right, so I'll make sure that we get these links into the show notes, into the show description, so that you can find this very easily. All right. And with that, I am going to pass this on now to Laurie, and Laurie will tell us what he has done, and in order to test out and see whether or not you can use FerretDB as a drop-in, a seamless drop-in replacement to MongoDB. So, Laurie, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to share your screen? And
Yeah.
I'll take this off. Okay. Really glad that Alexei was able to to join us today. So here we go. All right. It's always a challenge when you have a single screen.
Yes, so here is FerretDB running with the SQLite backend, and this FerretDB version is 7.0.42, and here when looking at vegan admin panel, it shows the same version here as MongoDB version. So how this was done? So, or actually, I would say first that what already works here. So I could log in to Vegan and show this admin panel, and also register and add a new user. But currently, adding new Kanban board does not work yet. There is maybe some MongoDB query that needs to be changed or supported. But anyway, having ability to log in and use the oplog and so on is already a good start. So this is very far already. So I'll show here how this was done. So first, there is FerretDB Docker Compose file. So this uses FerretDB Docker container, and there are some settings like for example that this uses SQLite. Other possibility would be PostgreSQL, and then there is for SQLite some file settings, and then for oplog it is the using replica set name rs0, and also here is a volume where is saved that data directory where is that database, and here also I did make some code that would create the collection for oplog at the start, but if it is not created, then it is possible to also create it. So how to create it is usually, if you do it manually, first Mongo shell is started, then using local database. So this, if it does not exist, then it will create to the local database collection oplog rs, and it is capped collection, so it will not go too large. So this is also at the FerretDB documentation at docs.ferretdb.io/configuration/oplog-support. So there is this same documentation, and but anyway, after starting FerretDB and creating this oplog manually or by some startup script, then we can look here. So here with MongoDB shell, we are first I write use local, and so changing to local MongoDB database, and here is show collection. So there is oplog.rs, and then I have some previous command. So here from the oplog rs I count the documents. Currently there are 87 documents, and when I use find, then in that it shows some previous content like run commands for the migrations and so on, and then I look what other databases there are. So, for example, if I change to vegan database, then I see all the collections from there. So, for example, so there is one user and so on. And so this is how far is it? So to configure this, there is the settings that needs to be made. For first, there is this FerretDB setting for the replica set name and creating that, and to use replica set in vegan, then there is also setting here for vegan. So I did not get the Docker version working yet, but there is this normal bundle version. So here is the command, so that oplog URL, so it goes to local database and replica set and with name rs0. So that is the only oplog settings on the vegan side to use it. So that way it kind of write that oplog there. And this is currently using Meteor 2 based vegan, but anyway, when this so I have not yet tried this with Meteor 3, and also I have not looked at is there what support for change streams, and maybe sometime. But anyway, this is with these oplog settings. So these can be tested by Meteor 2 or Meteor 3 with similar settings, and this is at GitHub. This test repository github.com/vegan/ferretdb, and these links will be added. Also to have add notes, and also there are directories here. Here is the PostgreSQL version for Docker Compose file. So it is kind of similar, but and also there is the replica set name rs0. But of course this uses FerretDB handler PostgreSQL, and I did test this both. So this is mostly it.
Hey. All right. So, I apologize. I was just reading the license for MongoDB while you were doing this, so I thought it was going to be a little longer. That's okay. So, what was your impression in terms of the setup, and was it overly complicated, difficult, or how do you find it? How do you find it?
Actually, it only needed the oplog settings for the FerretDB and vegan, And also I was able to log into Vegan and add users and only the adding board did not work, but anyway, because it already showed the FerretDB version as MongoDB version, this is quite far already with the features. So it would be possible to, for example, in Vegan change to different kind of database query, but it already can write and read and so on. So, or alternatively, to add some additional query support to FerretDB, but because it is open source at GitHub, it is possible to read the source code. And I also did look at some implementations of some queries. So it just converts the MongoDB JavaScript queries to SQL queries, and also it is drop-in replacement for MongoDB. So for at Meteor side is all that mini Mongo that is made with JavaScript and all the JavaScript queries, and nothing of that needs to be changed. So and also the MongoDB wire protocol and the driver for MongoDB is the same. So so it is kind of only changing MongoDB to FerretDB, and behind FerretDB can be SQLite or PostgreSQL.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, the doing the setup and the configuration was not very difficult at all.
Yes.
Okay. And then with regard to getting FerretDB itself, so I guess you use the Docker instance. Did you try using like an existing instance of Postgres, or were you using something that was Dockerized?
There were some different already made Docker containers. So some of those had old version of FerretDB. So I then changed to the development version, but all those different existing Docker images for FerretDB has been listed in that repository github.com/vegan/FerretDB. Cool. And also I did also compile FerretDB from source, so it is possible with Golang with git clone that github.com /FerretDB/FerretDB and change it to that FerretDB directory, and the subdirectory there was maybe some CMD or client subdirectory, and there normally building with the Go language like go get and go build, and it did build that executable. So I did not test the very newest compiled version yet, but anyway, we will get information about the newest features later.
So do you feel that you're going to continue on with this? Are you encouraged by FerretDB?
This is kind of makes the Raspberry Pi more useful, because currently when using MongoDB uses a lot of RAM and also CPU, and when comparing to FerretDB is made with Go, and if there is SQLite at backend, it uses much less RAM memory, so it kind of leaves much more RAM memory to Meteor. So it makes possible to run Meteor on those Raspberry Pis that have less RAM memory.
That's a good point. And we did do a Raspberry Pi episode not too long ago, and that was sort of a step one. We're probably going to go further with it. So you think this might be something that you might try with the Raspberry Pi in upcoming episodes?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Is there anything else that you want to point out about your experience with this? Any other final thoughts you might have?
No, that's all.
Okay. All right. Sounds pretty cool. All right. And folks, hang on. Oh, that's hang on. This is a good one. So he says, are there plans to move away from oplog to change streams? We have been talking about change streams. I think the team has been interested in the MongoDB. I'm sorry, the Meteor team has been interested in looking at that, and so we're kind of curious about what the support is going to be. You know, by the by FerretDB. So are you making a statement here, Alexei? I'm not quite sure I understand what you're trying to say here. Is I guess my question is FerretDB going to be supporting change streams? So let's see if Alexei is able to give a response to that. All right, and in the meantime, let me get the slides back up. I don't know why they're all gone.
Yes, at the Meteor side, there has been discussions to support change streams because MongoDB is changing to use change streams, and
yeah, I
probably
think
not. Yeah, and probably not using oplog anymore, so there would be no access to it.
so. I think the intention right now is because we have to have backward compatibility with other applications or other versions of Meteor, is that there would continue to be support for there would continue to be oplog support going forward, as well as there would be a parallel track with both change streams and oplog support, and then eventually phase out. I don't know what the timeline would be, but I think that's a question for the folks over at Meteor Software. And I think, Alexei, you guys have been talking to Fred and the team over there, so I think that's a good question to ask, and because it's on top of mind right now for the next version of Meteor, and it's on their roadmap, change streams. And so the question is, what do they think the changeover is going to be? Is it going to be just to get rid of oplog and do change streams, or are they going to do some parallel support for a while? I believe that the prudent thing to do would be to have parallel support for a while, but I'm not running that team, so I would check with them and make sure. I no longer work with for Meteor Software, so I was with them for a bit. I'm not there anymore, so I'm an outsider looking in. All right, and let me just get those slides back up again because let's see. Yeah, it's probably going to pop right back up here. Where are you? Where are you, slides? Why am I not seeing you? Oh, because they're already there. And all right. Okay, well, listen, Laurie, thank you for your input here and your help. Really appreciate you doing this project and giving us some insight as to how it works with FerretDB. I would suggest anybody that's interested, spin up a small project and or clone a project that you're doing already, and do the drop-in and see how hard it is and see how far you can get with Postgres or SQLite and FerretDB. Would love to hear that. I'm going to do a small project myself. I don't think that's going to be a good representative because I think there are people out there that have far more complex projects that might have things like materialized views. They might be using different aspects of MongoDB, some of the features, and it's a good question as to whether or not some of those advanced features work well. How well does the aggregation work? If I use MongoDB, complex MongoDB aggregation pipelines, how well does that work with FerretDB? Something to check and to see. We have a question from Jan Küster. Yes, Meteor team and community want to move to CS and drop oplog, hopefully in 2025. Okay. So that's another person that's from the community that's working on the community part that works with the team. So you're getting some feedback here, Alexei. Again, as I said before, I would talk to probably folks like Nacho or Leonardo to see what their intentions are with the change stream implementation. And so that's there. All right. Well, this has been a good discussion, I think. I think there's a lot more that we could talk about here, but we're going to move on. And we're going to get to what you might do over the next couple of weeks. We are going to be on break. So over the next couple of weeks, you might want to give, if you've missed some of the episodes and you haven't seen them all, or this is the first time coming here, if you want to watch the 5 most popular episodes of 2024 from TWIM, This Week in MeteorJS, we have put them together in a playlist. And here's a playlist, and you can watch them. We have them ordered. You can just go right through from the most popular down. These are the most popular in terms of the level of engagement that we've got, in terms of the total watch time that that we've accumulated. So we think these are probably the best episodes for you to take a look at. We'll probably put another playlist together that is just based on popularity, how many people have actually gone and seen the episode. I personally think that the most people that have watched the episode and also watched most of the episode or all of it is probably going to be more valuable to you than just something that, had a lot of people stop in and sample. So we have this, but we'll do the other one too. We'll give you that another time. I want to mention that in 2025, we are going to be moving on to another platform for our streaming. And at that time, we are going to be simulcasting not only to this channel, but also to the Meteor New York channel, the MeteorJS New York channel. That is the channel that's associated with MeteorJS NYC user group. So that user group is going to be getting this program streamed to it also on its own channel. They mostly don't know that we're here, so we're gonna be sending that stream over there also, and that's something new. We're going to be also streaming in high definition. Right now, we stream at 720p. You notice that there is a StreamYard logo that is also on the stream because it's free. We've paid for another service. There won't be any outside logos other than our own, and you'll be able to watch it without and have a higher resolution image so that you could see the text clearer when we are doing code walkthroughs, etc. All right. And with that, I want to wish you all a happy new year. Thanks for joining us. And we will see you on January 10th.
You did freeze.
What was that? I froze?
Yeah, you froze.
Okay.
But
well,
now you
let me say it again. Happy New Year. And we're going to be back January 10th. We'll see you then. In the meantime, we're going to be dropping a couple of episodes. They're not going to be live, but we are going to be talking about and announcing the 2024 Meteor Community Ambassadors, people that have done a lot for the community over the past year that we think should be awarded this. And so we talked about doing this a while back, and we will be making this announcement very, very soon. Happy New Year, man. Great to see you. Great to see you, Alexi, here. Good to see you, Simon, always. And everybody else who's in the chat, Jan, everybody else. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good week and weekend.